I work at the physio, and there's two other therapists there, and they're more sports and they do dry needling. Their approach, I suppose, and beliefs are a little bit different to mine. I just wanted to help my clients in a different way. And I wanted to sort of stand out in the physio in a different way, but what suited me as well and what I believe I'll get the best out of my client. And so I looked for ages. Like I was looking, as soon as I got qualified, I was just sort of looking at which avenue am I going to go down and have my own niche. That's when I looked at the hot stones, and I had that in my head for a while. So I was like, all right, hot stones, let's have a look at this and look at the benefits, how will it benefit the client, and just then starting to actually then, when I was treating my clients, I have a few clients that, cerebral palsy, and then just even general people, when you're rubbing the oil in and they're already in pain and you're just putting the oil on them and it's like, whoa, okay. Those type of clients, I was like, there's something missing here. And I just could feel it that they needed heat. And and those clients, they are just in awe of it. Like the one client that I'm doing at the moment, he's got cancer and he's on this special trial, and it's really working for him. And his body, it's like, this is his leg. That's how it is on the table. By the time I finish with it, there's not one shake.
Wow.
He's not shaking at all. And it's just calmed his whole system down. And I'm in awe of that. And just the same with that other lady, like putting the heat on her, I can actually get in and give her a release that she needs rather than just trying slowly with the oil. And the migraines, the benefits from the hot and cold have just been amazing. And obviously the way I treat the neck as well, it's just been like that review that I got was awesome.
Yes, that was an amazing review. I was like, wow.
So much pain relief for these migraines. She was on muscle relaxers, everything for these migraines, like 4 different pills just for this headache. And I was like, oh, no. And I'm even if she get off the table, if she's not where I want her to be, or, any client, I'm always making sure that the pain is decreased by far. I've always wanted to reach, so I'm pretty making sure they get their benefit, and they have. The negative to this is that the hot stones is different. I would like to do it as me, as that's how I treat people with hot stones, not. You know what I mean? Whereas now it'll be, I do remedial, but if they want the hot stones at $10 extra, that's the negative. And that's just part of being in a bigger business.
Where someone else is in charge of the pricing and
And I'd like to have my own little hot stone clinic, but I have visually seen the massive effects from the cancer patients and migraines, even sports like major shin splints. I used the cold stones off his shins. He was amazed by how different it felt. Very big believer in the stones.
It also depends on how you use them, Jodie. And, kind of getting into that, you have been a fantastic student. You took on board this online course and ran with it, really. I know that there was difficulties, in the fact that you've got a home clinic and you've got your workplace where you are not the sole controller over that environment, the pricing, the clients who are coming in, everything like that. It's someone else's business and you're working within it.
Yeah.
So do you want to kind of talk us through what that was like, the challenges around that, and how you got through that, really? It
was hard and I suppose there was a bit of a delay because I couldn't really practice as much as what I wanted to. So I really got my practice after. I think if you just have to make sure you're really prepared, I think, if you're going to do it, to make sure you start practicing straight away. Probably the most challenging part for me was probably, a little bit of a delay until everything was set up at work.
There is a lot of challenge. There is a lot of juggle.
Yeah.
Which is why week 1, there's no practical. It's theory and getting you organized, getting a plan in place.
Yeah, and I think people need to really actually do that, not just take that for granted, like actually get a plan in place. Because I do have high expectations of myself sometimes. I wanted by the 7 weeks I wanted the whole sequence down pat. I wanted it in my head how I was going to treat everything. But I'm even still learning different ways now, and my back kind of flared, so I don't know if it was different posture. So with the stones, and just making sure I really don't push the rocks in. Like I know I told you at the start that I got in my head like I still need it. If the ones that want the deeper pressure, I don't need to push harder, and that means more flexing, extending the wrist and things like that. So I was like, oh, no, stop, reset. That's why you did the hot stones, to be better on your body. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of, and then as you go to the legs, make sure you adjust the table. Don't keep it the same height. Don't get lazy, because you're not doing elbow or anything. Are you using that stone? Like, because I can just do using different techniques, moving the leg as well as at the same time with the stripping. Got a good relief. Like my boss came down, he had a go. He's like up there with cycling. So he's going to Switzerland at the moment just to ride. So you can imagine his body, right? And I was like a little bit like this when he wanted a treatment, because I wanted him to feel like it wasn't just wishy-wash spa. And I think, and after he saw that review, he's like, no, I want to see it. He hasn't even been able to rebook because I've been that booked out. But he loved it. And he even referred people that are going with him to Switzerland to come down and get a treatment just to, But yeah, he loved it.
That's so good. That's so good. A convert.
It's been a win for me, yeah. Because we were pretty quiet. Like there were some days I was only doing 3 or 4 clients. And I couldn't really complain because some of them were only getting 1. And this isn't a big physio. It was just dead quiet. And even physios were quiet. Everyone was sort of complaining about how quiet it was. So I was still quite busier than everyone else. And now I'm booked out.
The stones have been a draw card. So a big point of difference. And people have gone, oh, yeah, you got to try the stones.
Yeah.
So it's been pulling people in.
Yeah. And it's just been really good. So like I said, I was always more of the busy one, and now it's just everyone's just amazed by it. So it was really good, like how that it just can ease the pain and everything like that. So I was just very happy. And
that's so good.
A little bit frustrating because I'd like to just be able to treat like this all the time. So there are spas out there. Like I've had one of my regulars, she was so turned off by the hot stones, and I was like, oh, just give me a go, okay? I said, I understand you've had a bad experience. Someone left stones on her, walked out of the room and left her there, and they burnt her back. She had to flick them off her back. Wow. And then so she turned off. And a lot of people I know have received that same style. They leave the stones on them, walk out, come back in, give a bit of a massage, put the stones back on and go back out again. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a lot of good money gone. Magic stones.
It's sad, isn't it? Because you kind of go, oh, there's such a missed opportunity.
So that's why I was like, okay, I see a couple of people I'm going to have to sort of educate here. It's been good to sort of change their perspective of it and show people that it's not just a spa thing. Because a lot of people do see it as a spa. And they always say, oh, you see the pictures and they're just sitting there. One lady, she was just shocked. She was like, oh, are you moving the stones with your hands? And I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, I thought they just sit there. I'm like, no. But yeah.
What I say to people is like, that's about 10% of what I can do with stones. Just having them sat there. And they kind of go, oh, really? Wow. Like it's a huge surprise. You're going to go, yeah. What was the best part of the training for you, Jodie? Like what bit did you enjoy, or any other bits that you thought, that didn't really work that well for me, but just give us some feedback.
I'm a bit of a sponge, so I like to get a lot as much as I can. So I would have loved just more, but you can't. I guess just like the conditions and actually how to treat them. That's what I really liked. So someone that comes in with frozen shoulder, actually how to treat it. Like I've Googled so many. I've told you that before, like so many videos on how to actually treat. Like I like to see how different people treat. They're not realistic at all, because you cannot treat someone with frozen shoulder and their arm is like that, stretching through their pec, because their shoulder doesn't go that far. So I like realistic. You only got like that little bit of a move because their pec won't actually go that far. You just have to keep moving. And I've like sort of, the lady that I had, she's doing so well now with frozen shoulder. I think it's been just under a year, and she's now almost like she's getting close to that full range again. So she's really impressed with the 12 months, considering she does not rest because she's a drummer. Yeah, what do you do?
What can you do? It's like, yeah.
But yeah, so that really helped her. So yeah, more I liked in the course the conditions and how to treat them, because I suppose that's what we face. And the actual, the techniques. It's very convenient. And I think, unfortunately, I still have not had one. I want to have a hot stone, because the last time I had one and it was more of a spa sort of style. So I would like to feel the Remedial.
Did it take you a while to get used to holding the stones, Jodie?
Yes. I actually do remember, as in when you say long time, probably like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So the first time I treated my sister, admittedly, she has full-on shoulder issue with that clavicle break. I was cautious, but yeah. And which style? Now I kind of have like a routine, and my stone heater, like where all the hamstring quads go here, everything. I have it all organized. By the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because I have a group of people going through it at the moment, and they're kind of like midway, and they're freaking out.
Yeah.
The midway freak out. Yeah. And they're kind of going, can you please just give us a whole routine? Please just give us a whole routine. I'm like, well, I actually feel it's a bit like I'm giving you Lego blocks. So here's a Lego block that's shoulder girdle. Here's a Lego block that's low back. Here's a Lego block that's knees. Yeah. And you can put them together and make your own like Millennium Falcon of treatment, you know. Yeah.
And I kind of thought about that too myself. That's interesting that they said that, because I did think that. I did think, I just want to see the whole sequence. But then I would be using your sequence and your style. Whereas I think the point of me doing all this was to be about me and creating my niche. So even though I've got the hot stones, I'm still using me and my techniques, the way I treat someone. And I think, I think that would be a good reply to someone that says, can you just give us the whole sequence? I mean, because, we got given that when we did our studies, the whole relaxation, effleurage here and whatever. But I think you need to sort of put like, you can treat it this way, side lying for the trap, or up, how you were showing all these different ways. Every client's got to be different, and they'll be coming with different reasons. So you have to change it. There's not going to be one sequence, and it's just treat it as a remedial, but just using hot stones. You know what I mean? Like,
you just have stones in your hands.
You just have stones in your hands. Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. And I think it's kind of what I am aiming to do. I'm aiming to get people to be thinking more. Make those treatment decisions. Decide for yourself, am I going to start with this person side lying or supine or prone, or how am I going to approach this problem? And I think that gets your brain, but also your intuition firing. And you can use both together in a really intelligent, creative, and nurturing way with the stones. And that was kind of my aim, is not to make cookie cutter therapists.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the time, in my head, I actually did think of that. I was like, I wanted the sequence. I think if you then put it back onto them, that's the idea. You came to this course because you want to add your skill set and you want to be unique. You don't want to treat the same way. So exactly how you said, this is a Lego system. Build it yourself and come up with how you want to treat that client, because it's not just about hot stones. Like, I still do MET techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is the beauty of this. It's not excluding your prior skill set, because I firmly believe, like, when you're massaging, you bring all of your skills, you bring all of what you are, everything that you are, you bring into every treatment. So that's why I'm kind of like getting people to do more grounding, more presence work, so they can be really firm in this is me. This is what I'm bringing to the table. And I think when you start doing that, you attract the clients that you like treating. I think the big question for people who don't think they can learn a practical skill online, what would you say to them?
You can, because you've got it visually, and it's about you applying yourself and practicing what you see. If you're just going to look at it and not actually practice what you've been shown, then how are you? That's the idea of it. So instead of being in class, the teacher's showing you how to do the hamstring technique, wherever way, and then you go and do it and practice then and there. There's no difference to being online. So you're there showing us on those modules, then go and apply it. Mm-hmm. So if you're just going to look at the online and not actually apply it, then how are you going to learn it? So it's just, you just have to treat it that way. You have to actually apply yourself to the course. So you can learn something practical. I do 100% believe in my techniques and the stones, and they do benefit people. And I do show 100% confidence in that, and that's probably why they're coming back. And they're getting results.
Once you start seeing results with it, you're like, oh wow, this is amazing.
So yes, you can learn practical online. You need to apply yourself. You can't just treat it like an online and don't do the work. It's the same. You're not going to just walk away from the teacher in class and not actually practice it.
Mm-hmm.
So
same. Yeah. Do you think that having it broken up into chunks, like week by week, gave a bit more accountability? And the fact that, like at some point that week, I'm going to have a chat to Christine. Like, was that a motivator, or was that just like, oh man, that's overwhelming, it's too much?
No. It was really good because it was in the middle of my week. If I had like a really busy Monday, whatever, because I worked Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, oh, I really didn't practice. So I lacked in the practicing. And so I had to just keep watching the videos over and over. And then when I finally had my room set up and had a bit more here, I just went through it and kept doing it and kept treating that way. That's unfortunately that was on my part, nothing to do with the course. It was just purely how it worked.
Did you like to watch the videos and do the techniques at the same time, or did you prefer or was that not an option?
I couldn't do it that way. I just remembered how you were doing it, and then would go to work and treat it, but then I'd come back and go, oh yeah, cool, I did it that way. Awesome.
Cool. How often are you using your stones?
At the moment, it's every client.
Every client. Cool.
Every client. I think I've had like one client, she was a bit of a hard one. So I normally incorporate oils with as well, like especially headaches. I usually come up to the neck and I usually apply like a calming blend or a headache blend. And she was pretty headachy. She was about a 6 out of 10 headache. And she doesn't like heat, doesn't like cold, and doesn't like smells. So I was like, awesome. Hop down. We had a go, and it actually worked. So I just went back to the basics, and it got rid of her headache.
Wow,
so,
that's cool.
Always going to be there. I know that people aren't always going to like the heat, and she was just obviously she's just someone that's not open-minded. She was quite closed-minded, and things just set her off. She's about the only one I've come across that has said pretty much no to the stones, and that's been how many weeks now? So, mostly all my clients will have hot stones.